Wednesday, February 28, 2024. Do we have a motion to open?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, folks, we are going to continue our budget hearings tonight, and we're going to go in order. So we're going to start with Mr. Andrew Bobla, our building commissioner from the building department. Andrew,
would you like me to stand?
Absolutely.
Yep,
Yep.
okay, gotcha. Thanks, appreciate it.
Do we have any of their budgets? Because we don't have.
Oh, you don't have?
We don't have any of their budgets.
No.
Yeah. Go print them
But you can start. You can
Okay.
start.
Good.
Traditionally, just so you folks know, under this tab has been the inspections, but we are also going to, just for the fact that it's also an inspection, we're going to move sealer weight and measures, which is a minor one, and just put it in this tab as far as the budget goes.
Okay.
The budget books.
Yeah.
Are you folks going to prepare your books, or is my staff?
Typically, your staff would.
Yeah, I just wanted
Yep.
to make sure.
Yeah.
Sorry to
No,
interrupt.
no, that's okay. Good evening, my name is Andy Bobola, building commissioner for the town. And I'm here to present, as requested, a level funded budget, and then two categories to the right of that, a 5% decrease and a 10% decrease. So everything there is 100% level funded. The only thing that is not in there is anything to do with contractual obligations via union. I'm not privy at what's going on at this point, but that would only be a small amount of money.
The clerical position is now filled.
Thank you. And should you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer anything that you are considering.
Seems pretty.
Yeah, everything looks pretty straightforward. We always appreciate seeing level service budgets, so it makes our job a lot easier.
I'm well aware of what you're faced with and
Yeah.
what we're faced with as a town, so
Yeah,
trying to do what
we
we can.
appreciate your understanding and all the departments as well. Okay, Andrew, if we have any questions, does anybody have any questions for Andrew before he leaves?
The clerical position is a full-time position. As you know, we've moved clerical folks around between accounts, and we've made sure that's a full-time because that is one of the offices that is most busy in that building, and it's also an office that people go to, like the clerk's office, for direction on where to go in the other offices.
And just to give you a heads up, I will be talking with Mr. Kelly after town meeting. We are dramatically low on our fees across the board. It's something that we're missing a boat, we're missing an opportunity. I did some quick calculations. We're well over $250,000 just to be comparable, to neighboring towns of like population and geographics. We're kind of giving away,
So what do we need to do to?
The selectmen have to vote to raise the fees, but we have to present it to them, but we can't include it in our revenue estimates until we actually do it. But
Okay.
it's not just Acushnet. Fairhaven raised theirs recently. A number of the towns in the area are raising them because the South Coast was a lot lower than comparable towns in the other part of the eastern part of the state.
So could you just give an example, like what we charge compared to what our neighboring towns would charge for, say, you know,
Yeah.
plumbing inspector, I don't know, whatever it is that.
Right, so I'll give you a prime example, a 3,000 square foot, 3-bedroom home. We're at about 1,800, 1,900 for the fee. I can tell you Mattapoisett, because I talked to my previous admin Monday, they're at $7,000. Okay, they're low because they haven't raised them in over 2 years. You know, when I check with Fairhaven, 10, 11, 12. And, you know, it's not like I want to just throw this on the shoulders of property owners. But primarily, we're an as-needed department. If you need to put a deck, a shed, a pool, whatever it is going on, you come to us for the permit. So it's a permit-based, permit-driven situation, 95% of the time. So if they're building a $1 million house, you know, to be up at 6, 7, 8 grand, it's just all relative. And I think we're severely missing the boat. Just my opinion, one person, but.
And you say it just requires a vote by the selectmen, it doesn't require a town vote to up the fees?
I don't believe it.
Just the board of selectmen.
This part does, we're going to, probably, the selectmen are looking at presenting some articles for some other revenue enhancements.
And if it's presented properly to the selectmen and to Mr. Kelly, it's gonna be laid out in black and white, Excel spreadsheet, 10 communities of like population, size, and geographic
How
abilities.
about income, right? What's the median, I guess one of the comparables I'd like to know is what the median income is for those residents as well.
I'll look at his comparables, but we have a list of comparables that we use during contract negotiations. I'm sure it's pretty much the same list. It's based on per capita, EQV, all of the DLS, DLR.
Yeah, so using Mattapoisett as an example, we wouldn't be in Mattapoisett's category. So to go back to your example of a 3,000 square foot home, at $7,000 from Mattapoisett, I would imagine we'd probably be around 5, maybe, if we were gonna do.
But it's also, you have to do geographic as well as comparable size, income levels, density, all of those things have to be taken into account.
I just want to make sure it's one of the factors that's considered when we're looking at that, that's all.
Understood,
But
yep.
yeah, absolutely, if it's a way we can increase revenue, I think we have to do it. It's actually a must.
And we may not have to jump from A to B at one time. You know,
Right.
it could be in stages.
Yeah.
You know, we start in 90
Yeah, that's a good
days, you go
idea.
for 6 months or a year, do it in stages.
Yeah.
I can tell you that, looking at Berkeley, Sonnet, Lakeville, we've got Mattapoisett, Fairhaven, this area. Who else is out there that we're looking at?
Rochester.
Thank you, Rochester. I think I said a Sonnet. So we're, trying to look at, some communities that are similar to ours.
Well, thanks, Andy, for coming in tonight.
Thank you
If
so
we have
much.
any questions, we'll reach out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for what you do. Have a good night.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Good night, Andy.
Good night.
Any other fee revenue, or like revenue sources like that that we should look at, where we are so low?
Uh, As far, as I said, the selectmen are talking about presenting a couple articles, but until I
Right,
get,
we can't, I'm just saying, like, it can't just, is this the only thing that we can raise? What about like dog licenses? Are we comparable to what surrounding communities are? I'm not sure whatever else we get licenses for.
I think dog licenses just went up, didn't they?
Yeah.
Last year.
Okay,
they did. But it's, your total revenue is around, I believe, just back of the envelope on top of my head is around 2% of an increase. Your 2.5 is, I think, right around 2, or the levy's right around 2%, maybe a little more. It is a little more. But then your state aid was, I think, if I remember, like less than a 1% increase, and our local receipts estimate, not the actual receipts, has been close to flat for a couple of years. And that's because, for example, excise tax, we don't know how many new cars, but we're right now right at our estimate for, the selectmen is looking at it, but we're right at our estimate for what our estimate was last year, so it's not like it's changing that much. But there are some initiatives the selectmen are talking about.
Okay, next up to the plate is our golf department superintendent, Steve Tibbles, Dana Presbylewski, golf department manager. Welcome, gentlemen.
Ian,
How you doing?
Good.
That's good. I believe in front of you, Nick, did you, I got that budget too, we did that this morning. You've got a comparison between FY '24 and FY '25 in front of you. The FY '25 numbers are there for review. If anybody has any questions on any particular line item, we can go through that as opposed to just simply going down the list and reading off numbers.
for the most part, we tried to stay pretty much level funded where the line items, where we couldn't, that's where we went up.
Yeah, so it's overall, it's just a minimal increase
Minimal
from
increase.
last year.
Overall, if you look at, it's 1.97%
Yep.
on the bottom line.
As far as the operations side, there were two line items that I went up on specifically. One were the pro shop supplies. I'm still trying to catch up from COVID and backfill some of the gaps that I had where products were unavailable. And since 2020 and 2021, prices have gone up. So there were times this season where I ran out of Pro Vs and I was pushing the other ball, DTs or whatever balls that I had, but I was shuffling through balls and trying to get those back in inventory in full stock so that we don't have those situations as far as grabbing those impulse sales when they present themselves. So that's the explanation for the pro shop. And then the other one I think I have was there was a significant increase was due to our Golf Now subscription. They increased their fees, so now it's $1,000 a month, so we had to jump that up. So those are two unavoidable increases.
You guys feel okay with keeping the energy line item the same?
For now, we've made some changes in our building as far as heating is concerned that should help to offset that somewhat. Although we do have we have half of our maintenance building is heated, the other half isn't, and there really isn't significant insulation between the two buildings, so the heat goes up and goes over and then it goes out. But I think utility-wise, we should be good. I mean, the area that I was more concerned about was gasoline. We had been chugging along somewhere between 20 and 20,000 to 22,000 a year, and we were consistently coming over budget in that particular line item by $8,000 and $9,000, and I can't see the price of fuel going down anytime soon. And with the new fleet of electric golf carts, with new fleet of gas golf carts, and we may save a little bit because a couple of my newer machines are going to be hybrids, but it's not going to be significant in that line item. And it's actually in many respects a good thing for us, not so much that the cost is going up, but we're increasing rounds, we're getting more play, and that requires us to keep those carts full and going out in the golf course every day of the week.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
with the new electric rates, I'm not sure that figure is valid.
The energy? Well, that's why I asked about that.
We'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Which, when you say figure's not valid, you're considering both or individually?
The electric.
I understand, well, the utilities,
Yeah.
energy and utilities. I didn't know if you were looking at the combined total of 32,000. I do know that our biggest electric expense is in season is the running of the pump house and the irrigation system.
Where's I see energy, but where's the?
You see 521,000 and 523,000. There's two separate energy accounts, one that applies to the pro shop and that end of the operation, and then one that applies to the maintenance end.
Yeah, I'm concerned with the pro shop one.
Okay. They both kind of fall.
Because yours has gone up.
No, they're both going to go up because the rate's going to go up, so, yeah.
It went up
It went up, yeah, I can see that. I didn't get those.
this month.
Huh? Yeah, just this month.
Are you guys on the town's phone system yet, or no?
That's what we did when we converted Nick, yeah, so yes, we are on the town phone
So
system.
you have $1,000 on there for that? I know it's pennies compared to everything else, but.
What, one of those, that's for the pro shop, for the, internet access. We still have to pay for internet.
You're not on the town internet yet?
Not yet,
Okay.
No, they are. Yeah,
we are,
Yeah, we still have to calculate a back charge for providing phone and internet. So we're moving target on that.
I did. Okay.
The insurance line item, you were able to decrease that by 20,000.
the insurance line item, that, there's a few line items here that weren't my or Dana's calculations. Those were calculations provided by Mr. Isaac in the budget, so I'm not quite sure
Okay.
where that insurance reduction came from.
I think he stated that, the town had
Oh, yeah.
renegotiated, terms, and that was gonna drop significantly.
The question I have about insurance, though, is what exactly that particular insurance line item covers. Because I've got a building of over $1.7 million worth of equipment,
Right, that's what I was at, like health insurance.
not counting the
liability.
pump system and the irrigation system, so I don't know how that whole insurance number plays into that. And I've known from other places where I've worked in the past, but that's never been explained to me here.
The new carrier did do an inspection of the course.
If they did, I never saw them in my building. I provided them information, or I provided information
And
several years ago on equipment replacement costs.
Yes, yeah.
But I haven't seen, that was back when, actually, I believe, geez, I think Brian Noble was the town administrator at that point, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but we gave them an inventory of your equipment.
Yeah, we should have an up-to-date, yeah, I mean, I gave an up-to-date inventory with equipment replacement costs.
Speaking of equipment, how is all the equipment for, taking care of the golf course? Is it in good condition? Anything you foresee?
We're,
Yeah.
I would say we're probably in about 80 to 85% good condition, and by that I mean, we don't have any particular pieces that aren't in good shape. We have pieces that are significantly old that need to be replaced, and they primarily concerns aeration equipment for both greens, tees, college approaches, fairways, and a rough mower. But in the past 2 to 3 years, we've been able to replace some of the items which are somewhat more higher tag items. I mean, our triplex fleet is in good shape. Come April, we'll have 2 new greens mowers that'll round out the triplex fleet, so we'll be in pretty good shape in that particular area for at least the next 4 to 5 years.
Good.
Rough mowing equipment, we're in decent shape now. And again, we have one piece that should probably be replaced in a year to a year and a half. Although the aeration equipment is more important at this particular point because those items are circa 2006. And I don't know if you're familiar with aeration equipment, but basically what it does is it's got a sprocket that goes through it, and it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, probably about, I don't know, it puts on 1.5 by 1.5 spacing, you put about 35 holes almost per square foot, a little bit less. So that's a lot of up and down over 18 years. A lot of wear and tear, bearings and other things, and it gets to the point where you start to wear out things that can't be replaced. And then you go to replace them and you find out that they don't make them anymore because they don't make that particular area.
Yeah, you're gonna love when that happens,
So-
right?
But yes, to answer your question, I feel comfortable with the majority of the equipment fleet. Like I said, there's a couple individual areas that will need attention over the next year or so. But we've been discussing that, and the golf committee is we've been discussing that and planning that. So they're aware of it, and I think we're in a pretty good position to address those in the future.
Anybody have any other questions? Over here. Hey, gentlemen, thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you for having us.
We
Take your
appreciate
time.
This is it's the first 2 years in a row. I think it was 3 or maybe 4 years ago was the first time we ever got to come before the finance committee.
No, we appreciate having
So
it.
lucky.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Some people don't think
Feel
that's luck.
free to get in touch with us.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Yes.
Steve, just quickly with the FinCom, I know you've done it with the Board of Selectmen. Can you discuss the difficulty everybody's having, but in various departments that is buying equipment and ordering equipment and trying to get it, and how you have some delay?
Well, the interesting thing is, and again, I'm not the best person to talk to about COVID because I have my own particular interpretations, but our equipment suppliers and everybody started blaming things on supply chain and this and that and the other thing. And when you order a piece of equipment and it takes almost 2 years to get it, it's, I'm not buying it, but there's not much I can do about it. If we go back and use the greens mowers for an example, the greens mowers that will be delivered in April were ordered 18 months ago. 18 months.
Fire chief is having the same issue with the ambulance.
Ambulance.
Yeah, and I'm scratching my head now. Maybe I'm not the best in the equipment line as far as production, but for some reason, car dealers are able to bounce back a lot sooner than a lot of other people. And I mean, and I probably shouldn't say this, but it's always interesting that some of the finer golfing establishments end up with equipment amazingly showing up, and the rest of us have to wait 18 months. So I'll probably get yelled at by my friends from Toro for saying that, and John Deere, but they tell me that, they're working at it. I trust them, but we've had some significant issues there, and we've had some significant, the price per pound and price per bag of fertility products is actually starting to level off a little bit. 3 years ago, my Fairway fertility product cost me about $68 a bag. Last year it was $83. And when you use, 120 bags twice a year, that gets up over close to $30,000 just to fertilize fairways. $14,000 a pop, give or take about $4,000 for the rough, which we only do once a year. But it's caused us some issues. We've had to come before the Board of Selectmen and say, okay, this is what we need to get, and then they approve it, and then all of a sudden you're just kind of sitting there in that churning wheel waiting till it comes. And then unfortunately, 9 times out of 10 when it comes, the price has changed. And I said, well, wait a minute, this is the price we discussed when we ordered it. Well, again, production costs, so on and so forth, newer iterations of the equipment. So they have to go back and make sure that, that we're on the same page with the selectmen. So it's been, it hasn't been difficult because the selectmen have been very understanding, but it's been kind of trying to have to go, tedious to go back and have to ask again and finally get our numbers squared away. Some of the pieces we were able to buy because of the success we've had over the past 3 to 4 years in earnings, and some of them we put on 5-year dollar buyout leases because that's the best option for that particular category or piece of equipment for us to expense that way. I know Nick doesn't particularly like financing, and neither do I, because I think it's kind of a wasted money, but in some respects it helps with those particular items that that have a less maintenance dependent life on them than some of the others.
In terms of locking the prices, and I know with the ambulance, for example, that we could put something when we have the serial number and save the money where it locks the price in.
That's because we're building the ambulance.
Right, but they couldn't the same scenario happen.
No,
They're purchasing equipment that's
off the shelf.
Yeah.
Well, it's technically off the shelf. What they do is, all 3 of the major turf companies, which is Toro, John Deere, and Jakes and Textron, they make a production line of X number of units. And once they make their triplex production line, they retool and make a fairway production line, and then a rough unit production line, and so on. So you can specify the make and model, but the serial number is whatever you end up with when they deliver it to you. And then what Toro will do is Toro has systematic price increases during the 12-month period. And what they do, or what they've been doing now because of the delay in delivery, is that you don't get the final price until 60 days prior to your delivery date. And that's when your final locked-in price is. So, we're looking at probably, somewhere in the neighborhood of $4,000 or $5,000 a piece of equipment, maybe $6,000 from the original price. And I explained to them, I said, that might not be an issue for some people, but if you do that on 4 or 5 pieces of equipment, that's something else that I could have gotten. So.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Just double check which ones we're supposed to have, because I've got extras. I think some of the packets got split up. Nick, which,
Put them all.
yeah, I know, but,
So we have
So it would be,
DPW snow and ice, street lighting,
yep, CMAS,
CMAS,
and then water sewer.
water sewer.
CMAS, yes.
Does everybody have the same?
Yes,
Water, sewer, street lighting, CMAS, and snow and ice. Is that it? Or is it-
Okay, so maybe we do, how many?
And highway. Like the top one should be highway, this is the actual budget.
DPW highway department.
I don't think I have that one.
Okay.
How many you printed?
Street lighting, CMS.
All right, I'll get you stuff. Highway, highway. I don't have one.
Yeah, so.
You don't have highway either?
Oh.
Here you go.
No, okay, that's all.
Do you have highway?
What else?
Yeah.
do you need, Bob?
That's so nice. No, that
You
does.
should have 6.
4, I got 4.
Okay, what do you need then, Bob?
Good water.
Highway?
You don't have water.
I don't have water.
You need water? Do you need sewer?
I don't have it.
Okay. So I think you've got 6.
Yep.
Are,
6. I've got 6.
is
You've got
the
Okay.
committee done with golf?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Gentlemen, thank you for coming out tonight. If you have
Especially
any questions,
people
we'll reach
get
out.
up early.
Oh, yeah. That's, you know, I make a suggestion, you know, if they want to have more lively meetings, we could have it at 5 o'clock in the morning. You know?
I'm on. I'm game for that.
Hey, goes one.
I'm already in Boston.
As long as you make breakfast.
Huh? Oh, we can do that.
You make breakfast down at the pro shop?
Are you guys ready?
Next up
Next.
is our DPW Director,
Good evening.
What's up, Dan?
All right. You guys want to start with highway?
Sure.
Sure.
All right. I mean, basically the whole budget on everyone is, you know, we asked to level fund and pretty much we did. The only things that went up was contractual or like one of them was longevity that went up, and that was because Kathy, my assistant, she hit her 10 years. So that's what the increase in that is. The other things, because we went to 52.2 weeks, that's where them numbers changed on the other things, I guess. We were asked to do that. So,
The energy budget went up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Significantly.
all right, so that one I didn't, like this, the energy, we just level funded, I didn't do nothing on mine. Jamie, we changed that one on this one?
Yeah.
They have, okay,
Because of, we just got the prices.
okay.
So did we, are we going off of, because it's more than double what 2024's budget was.
On
So,
the
What,
energy,
energy?
yeah,
Because the rates.
so the rate's more than doubled? Okay.
we are still discussing it with Constellation, but the
Okay.
first pass, it's a little more than doubled.
Okay, just because I don't remember it being more than double the last, on some of the other budgets that we've discussed, so
But,
are we saying that we might need to tweak some of the other budgets because,
oh, yeah.
okay, I guess that's what we're saying.
And not, well, I'm in negotiations with Constellation,
Okay,
so I hope they won't stay this level.
We're good with keeping gasoline level funded.
I mean, actually doing pretty good this year, so again, that's kind of a guess, you know, what the fuel does, so
Mhm.
we're right in where we're supposed to be this year.
Okay.
We'll probably have a little left over this year, I'm thinking, hopefully. So I think we're, again, if nothing changes, I think we'll be good with the fuel and everything else. Again, you guys know, if you level fund stuff, we're still losing. You know, the cost of living goes up, materials go up, and, you know what I mean, unfortunately, you know, the same money is not the same, so we're
Yeah.
it's definitely less.
Hamlin Road, that's all state, federal. That's not anything to do with your.
It's gonna be chapter 90 fundings, that's gonna be taken care of. That. I mean, the state's doing the bridge, we're not, that's nothing to do with us, so the state's doing that bridge, but when that bridge is done, hopefully within a year, we're trying to put some chapter 90 funds away to get that road.
Are you guys doing that, or is that gonna go out to bid?
We're not sure at this point, we'll see what, at the time and what the funding is, but we're definitely putting enough in there so it could go out to bid, so. And it's
That's a big, you know, it's a long road for you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Any other big planned road work projects that you forecast?
I got 10 million roads, I just don't get the money, manpower to do it, but yeah. This year, I just met with the board, so yesterday I was kind of busy, I didn't get to go there,
The
but.
Toodle Lane or something, I saw.
Well, that one actually is gonna be that is actually, Fairhaven's gonna be paying it's gonna be our time, so that was kind of the bargain. Most of that road is theirs than ours. And I met with them, and they didn't mind, like, they were gonna pay for the mix, so we would be doing the work, and they're paying for the mix, so that's kind of like the payoff for us doing the job.
Yeah.
So it's kind of our time and fuel and police details that I need, and then Fairhaven said it would pay for the mix, so they're paying for our portion and their portion.
Is that another Eversource dig up or something, or?
No, that's not an Eversource, this is just, we get a lot of complaints on that road, and I think a lot of even Fairhaven residents are, complaining to us, because when I talked to the superintendent over in Fairhaven, the guy said, oh, we don't have many complaints over there, yeah, because they're all,
Because they're calling
you know what I mean, they're all coming to us, so. But anyways, he's still gotta talk with their board, and it's kinda in the mix, but we're hoping that gets done this season, and again, it's gonna be our time doing the job, but they're gonna be footing the bill on it, so it won't be coming out of our road materials or our road paving line item.
So how much is ours versus theirs?
It's like 65-35 I come up, but it's probably actually even ours is a little less than 35, because of the way it's cut, without getting it surveyed and stuff, and it's probably a little less than us. They probably got, 70-30 or something like that, or maybe, but again, they're gonna be paying for our portion, and the whole road's gonna get done, so they'll be paying for it, we're digging it up, but it's.
So even though we're putting in all the work,
Yeah.
the fact that they're paying for our 30% of the mix makes up for us
Our
doing
time-
their
our time,
70% of their
yes.
road.
Correct,
Okay,
yes, yeah.
as long as the numbers work out that way.
The
I mean, again, that's us doing it in-house, and I mean, if it went out to bid, it would be.
Right, I totally
Yeah,
get that if
yeah,
it goes out to bid, it would be
Yeah.
a lot more money, but I just
Yeah.
wanna make sure that,
Yeah,
I'm not saying we should,
Yeah.
Fairhaven should be paid more, but as long
Yeah.
as the amount of time
yeah,
that our guys are working on it
yeah,
is comparable to what it would have been if we paid for our mix, right? That's how I'm thinking about it.
Yep. Actually, I did give them, I had all the figures for our time and everything.
Yeah,
on there, so-
we've
Yeah,
got,
I mean-
if you want to look at it after the meeting, it's in the,
So I did
our
I
meeting-
figured out
our
time
meeting
and our
book
labor, and I
upstairs.
figured
I'm
everything
just
else.
looking at an algebraic formula where the equal sign
Yeah,
should prove,
it's.
it should not be a greater than or less than, it should be an equal
Well,
sign.
actually, I think it's close, but I think it's to our advantage.
That's fine, that's all, I
Yeah.
just wanted to.
Yeah, I did do all the numbers though on our time and everything, the police details and, material if we needed it, and so, yeah.
The board and the DPW are also, there's a great concentration on holding Eversource accountable for the roads that they have cut into and need to repair, and whether it goes out to bid or it's done by DPW, we are holding their feet to the fire to pay for it. I think that's the best way to describe
Pretty
it.
much, yes.
And that's both DPW and the board's concentration on what roads are going to get done. We got to make sure that the roads that they cut and the trenches are in get done.
Correct. And we're trying to look like even the board was trying to, instead of doing these like patches,
Doing half the
10-foot
road.
patches, and, if we're gonna do this, just do the road, you know what I mean? So, a lot of people, if you live on that side of the road, you're good. Where they cut, so, that's one of the things they're looking into doing, so you're getting the whole road paved.
I know there was a concern after like Perry Hill and Middle Road that you guys don't have the proper equipment to do
That's
big
some of
roads
it,
like
some
that.
of it was a lot of new guys, a lot of it was we had some problems with the paver, it's a ton of issues that went into that.
Okay.
But it is what it is. It definitely on a bigger job, you definitely need a heavier paver, bigger one. And on Perry Hill, we were having dump trailers, which are too big for that paver.
Yep.
And when they dumped the mix into the thing, it was actually coming out of the paver, where a bigger paver, they're longer, and the dump trailer could dump into them. And the dump trailers, the bodies don't go down fast enough. So what happens is the mix comes out and goes in front of the paver, and then you got to, we tried, but you can't shovel it out, and you get the bumps in it, and it's just impossible. So that was one of a learning experience. Again, none of us paved in the past, so like we used dump trails because it was a bigger road and it was easy to do, but it didn't work out. Like I said, like the bigger pavers, when they dump in, you can suck the mix back in there. With ours is a shorter hopper, you suck the mix, it's sucked up
And
as
the
far as it goes.
paver's ours, right?
I'm sorry?
The
That
paver's ours, yeah, we're
correct,
not
yes.
getting a new paver.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, again, and we don't got the manpower to do them. A lot of this stuff, it's manpower and,
Yeah.
and time, experience, and again, we're
So
always.
it's not like a
changing
roller
guys.
situation or anything?
No,
where
we
you
just,
can't
no,
roll
that was, again, and then we had
Lesson learned.
new guys on the paver,
Yeah.
no experience and stuff, so it's just a lot goes into that, and it's
It was
it's
a lesson
difficult
learned, so
to-
maybe you don't
sometimes-
learn on a road like Perry
It was
Hill.
Yeah.
good intentions, but when you drive down the road and the manhole covers are 2 or 3 inches
Yeah.
lower
And
than
you
the
hit-
road,
Yeah,
and you hit it with a sports car with the narrow tires on it, you feel like the whole front end's gonna fall off.
yeah.
So when I drive down the road, I'm like this, dodge, like I'm on a slalom skiing going down the road.
So
It's on your
sad.
manhole covers.
A little sports car, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, yeah,
I'm going down with my Jeep, so I don't feel
Well,
the same way.
yeah, when I use a Yukon, it's not so bad. When I drive my wife's car down there, forget about it. It looks like I'm drunk going down the road. Zing, zing.
All right, snow and ice, next, right?
Yeah. I'd like to know where we're at right now.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
ask the same question.
I think
Keep the guys
50,000
doing it.
left.
I would imagine we'd be.
How much?
50,000 left,
50,000, but does that include,
this most recent.
it does?
Mhm.
Oh, excellent.
All right, so we should be good.
And what about like the bonuses?
I caution the finance committee to remember the April 1st snowstorm.
Oh, I remember it well.
Yeah.
That was,
I
that,
give you-
I don't want to jinx you.
but
One
Jamie,
more
that was
heads up,
like
too.
25 years ago.
One more heads up, I always fill our salt shed at the end of the year because the prices.
I remember
increase
the
every year.
blizzard of '78.
So do I, but I remember April 1st, I was still working at Arthur Anderson, so that is 25 years ago.
Who do they film this
Oh,
for?
it was that long ago.
It was,
Was it?
yes,
Um,
yes.
It's probably gonna be around 30 anyways, in salt,
Absolutely
you know what I mean?
was,
That's gonna be,
'cause
I fill it up every year. I
And what
haven't
about
filled no
the-
salt this year, so that salt shed definitely is gonna be needing material before the end.
And the bonus that you guys are paying for the guys that hang on for the storm?
I'm sorry?
Is that?
Oh, yeah,
coming in?
that's gonna be cut out of it as well,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
What do we got, 19 guys, maybe 20?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Street lighting?
Yeah.
yeah,
So that 50
we're
is-
we're
yeah.
not looking at a deficit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if it's something I can get less salt if we have to, whatever it is, what it is to, but I usually fill the shed at the end of the year. But it actually, it probably won't be as much just because, we haven't had the storm, so the salt shed ain't empty, you know what I mean? So it's probably, a little less than half, so it probably it won't be the material I need as usual, so. Unless we get, well, I'm probably
Let's
going
hope
out
for a
tonight.
nice
If you
March.
call in tonight, it freezes up.
Oh, yeah.
So. So I guess, level funding, that's a budget, that it is what it
Yeah.
is, you gotta
Yeah.
kinda
Yeah.
go with that.
All right, on to street lighting.
That is not mine, I don't know what you
Yeah,
guys
what-
wrote on me, but I don't
You
usually
didn't
take care of
increase
that.
energy for this one?
This is one we are looking at as far as the whole issue. Also, we are discussing with the pole owners some issues concerning the lights, and when they replace a pole, letting us know, and certain people should replace lights, or maybe they don't get pole permits.
Okay.
All right, next, CMAS.
again, that's been level funded except for contractual, which is CMAS and the pickup, which is recycling in there. And that's, again, that's what the contract, what we had a 5-year contract with CMAS, and we also had the 5-year with the trash recycling.
When's that up?
I think we got 2 years left with them.
Okay.
Yep.
How are we doing on contamination load?
We've been actually doing good, yes. No, it hasn't been, we had a couple issues, that was last year, we have nothing, knock on wood, this year, so.
So we're at a good rating.
And as far as like the recycling, it's all over the place. It's 90 something a ton, it's 60 a ton, when sometimes they're paying us money. It's impossible to come up with a exact figure. We're roughly the same tonnage every year. We roughly do 1,000 ton of recyclables, and it's a little over 3,000, 3,500 of trash we do a year. Trash is pretty much stays the same. What the cost of that is, except for like CMAS, what we pay for a contract with them guys.
And one of the factors in recycling is like whether it's contaminated and if people have to pull it, like that's a factor in it.
Then yes,
Yes.
they'll, yeah, I think it was like, I forgot the last time we got, it was probably a couple grand or something for us to, take care of that problem when they did it. But when they dump it, they film everything, and they knew where it came out of our trucks, and so, but they take care of it, but it's a bill from CMAS who give it to us, so.
And how much was it?
I want to say like $1,500 the last time it happened to us
Okay,
for one incident, you know what I mean, but.
okay, so it isn't,
It wasn't
it
crazy,
isn't,
it wasn't like 40 grand.
yeah, no, it isn't like,
No.
we're paying, like you're saying, where
No, when
recycle is
we
90
only-
cents, 60 cents, they pay us. The reason for that I guess what's the reason for that
That's the
fluctuation?
market. It's the
Okay.
market of where they're getting rid of it, so.
Okay,
When I first started, it used to be all China, so then it went to Vietnam, Indonesia, it was going all over the place, so. Tell you the truth, I don't know where it's going right now, but it's where it goes, where the market goes, and that's how they adjust it.
Gotcha.
So, that's waste management, and so if the market's, if they're paying and they're not paying, or we're getting rid of it, it's a factor. Like I said, it's all over the place. It's
Gotcha.
not, one month it's $90, next month it's $60.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's up and down, so it's kind of good, it at least goes down. I ain't seen it like it gradually stay up, it's up and down, so it's
Thank
all
God.
over the place. Yeah, so it's, again, I mean, we're level funding it, and it's been working, so it just went down, so this year we should be fine, and I think, we might have a little extra in that if it stays where it is, but I can't oversee it, whatever it is, So, any other questions on CMAS?
I think we're good. On to water.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, Nick just told me that you've got a version that has been changed. It just hasn't, you don't have the latest version with the energy price change.
for the water,
Water and sewer.
yeah. So what should the energy line item be then?
We're estimating 7,000 for water and 31,000, I believe, for,
Basically double.
Yeah.
yep. And that's a moving figure right
So
now.
add in 16.
We're also looking at the possibility of
Sewer was 31.
putting one line for energy, rather than have it divided among all the buildings. Because we have one contract now.
Mr. Kemp, what'd you say on the sewer? You got 30?
31,
31.
31.
adding 16.
Cheaters?
Yes, I'm in need, and I don't have them. This is a struggle.
Telling you, need to do 11 by 17
I know I had to have mine blown up a little bit, I couldn't see it either.
I've got prescription, but I have cheaters in every room of the house.
This is a push to get everyone to use their laptops to save paper. I can send,
They should
I
be.
can
I-
send it to you digitally.
But my screen on my
Well,
laptop
you-
ain't much bigger than this. I need my
I've made
monitors.
requests to have electronic versions of these things sent to us.
I'm surprised they're on our tablets here, because you would save so much in printing and paper.
Yeah.
That would be a price reduction there.
You're gonna have to get me a laptop, because I don't have one, so that's a problem.
Well, today we discovered we have an indoor pool downstairs.
No.
Oh, God, that doesn't.
That storage area?
Oh, the flooding, yeah.
All right, we're at here, we're, basically, again, that one was level funded, except the increase from the city, which we're basing it, we haven't got the increase yet, but it's just based on what they've been doing for the past 3 years. It's roughly 8%, I guess.
And they've, since 2022, man, they've gone up quite a bit
Yeah,
on
but
water.
it's been like that, 8% every year, it's what they've been hitting us with, so, again, that's,
Should we tell them cost of
Out of
living
control.
adjustment for 22 was 8%, but for 23 it was only 3, so.
yeah.
And they're still permitting, aren't they, the new treatment plant?
Correct, so. And there could be something when we get to the sewer possible in the future on that as well. Because, DEP's like regulating them a lot of new things with their sewer treatment plant, which we are kind of part of because we're giving our sewer. So a portion of that cost is definitely going to come over our way eventually. It's not this year, but maybe next year. I don't know. Who knows when it's coming, yeah, so. But we can expect it at one point. And the other one that went up was the AMR service agreement, and that's for Mueller radio read contract that we have. And that's actually on both water and sewer, so. And I think even the sewer, if you want, it's the same thing as the only increase in New Bedford. Everything else is level funded.
Are we on sewer now, or are we still?
I think we're just looking at both. 'cause,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's the same
The
thing. really.
increases
I'm
are
just
the
curious,
same.
we don't have any inspections that are coming up this year for sewer like we had required in the past. I don't know how often those.
No, the inspections, yeah, this one we were good, I think maybe, we did most of the things, the camera work and all that
Yeah,
stuff that
that's
we
right.
had to do, but, yeah, I don't see nothing coming this year, no, as far as that goes. We did, there was a bunch of different phases and we pretty much did them, so I don't know when we're gonna start, we're gonna start.
Yeah, I thought that was a recurring
It kinda
thing.
keeps going, but I think we can kinda, DEP ain't saying nothing about it, so we're kinda leaving that alone right now.
You probably just curse yourself because you're on camera.
I know, he just did.
Dan, no articles for town meeting? No,
I could give you 10, but it's, again, like everybody was saying, that, we just got our truck, a 10-wheeler, it's 2.5 years it took to get that one. 2.5 years.
yeah, so we're
Get
good
that truck.
good on equipment, right?
Uh,
We're good on equipment, right?
Well, not really, but I need a new sweeper, but that's another talk, not this time. so
All right,
it's-
yeah, for this year, we're good on equipment.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
just here again.
Sounds good.
This is not good.
Yeah, so, yeah,
All right, well, thanks for, does anybody have any questions for Dan while he's here on anything? Dan, thanks for coming in. If we have any questions, we'll reach out.
okay. very good.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night,
Thank
thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dan.
Next, we have a reserve fund transfer. It's for postage. So I'll read the explanation here as best I can. With the primary and town election still set to take place, the expected amount of postage required to comply with the state standards has caused an unforeseen amount of mailing to be sent out for each. The estimated mailing ballots is around 2,000, and then in parentheses, out of 7,000 registered voters. There's already been over 350 incorrectly filled out applications. Just another reason for no mail-in ballots, in my opinion. That require remailing. Also, pre-election inactive voter postcards must be sent out this year. 53 cents for the postcard in a sealed 64-cent envelope. This postage line is shared between all town departments, so they're asking for $15,000.
Don't they do like a bulk mailing rate or something?
Could somebody just walk me through the math? X number of envelopes times the postage, like, what are we mailing? How many?
This is because
The ballots.
they are, there's one machine here,
Yeah,
and it's charged to one line. And next year, we've told the clerk that she has to break out her postage and put it in the elections line of the budget, not in the general town line.
Can't you just take them, instead of running through the machine, bring them down to the post office? They didn't like a bulk rate thing that they can do at the post
I mean,
office?
I tried doing the math, I
You'd
never
have to
got
have
to
a bulk
15 is
permit.
my problem.
What a waste of time and money. It really is. Just how many people they have come in to work on the thing that my wife works on, the thing there. And how many people, I think there was more people working than actually coming to vote.
But that's why.
4 or 5 people come in one day to vote. And
Yeah, and
I
For
mean,
350.
it's mandated you have to do it, but
Costs
it's such a
$409.
and the
waste of
state's not,
Yeah.
the
money.
state's not
I'm not
picking
sure, I'm
up
not
the
getting to the
tab.
15.
it's awful.
For each estimate.
So we're basically doing this, so that way postage hits the elections budget and not her normal budget, but the money sits in her normal budget?
No, it's in our it's the town administrative budget.
Okay, so couldn't we, why are we doing a reserve fund and not just a transfer?
Because she has never put it in the election budget.
Yeah. So, okay, so let me back up to make sure I fully understand this, because I think I'm missing something here. We have budgeted for the mailings for the elections. It's, so we've never budgeted for mailings for elections.
We have one line
Yep,
for the postage machine.
yep, got
And
that.
we have, last year,
Yep,
we moved treasurer collector out because we realized that all that was coming in, and we were going looking for a reserve fund transfer for that. So we put it into the tax bill line so we know where it's going and we can track it. This year, because of the perfect storm with all the elections,
yep,
we are going to be short in the postage, so we need a reserve fund transfer. And I told the clerk for her budget,
yeah, to segregate it. I get that piece. I guess what I'm struggling with is we knew how many elections we're going to take.
we didn't budget for it.
Okay, that's the
She
part.
didn't request extra money
Gotcha, okay.
for the town. She just assumed it would come out of that line.
Okay, but I guess I get it, so it sits in this one line item.
For all postage.
I got it, but she didn't account for the fact that we knew how many elections were going to take,
And it wasn't communicated to us who do the budget because it's in our office.
okay. So, basically, our postage line item for last year from the get-go was insufficient to cover normal town mailings and the elections.
As every year I discover a new wrinkle, and my view is if it's postage and it's elections, it should be in the elections
Right.
budget.
I'm just, yeah, and I get that, I just wanted to see, is it
We
just
didn't-
sitting in the wrong spot? And the
we
answer is,
didn't-
it is not sitting in the
We
wrong spot, it
didn't
was never
budget
budgeted.
properly.
Okay. And how do we get to 15? So how many elections, how many mailings?
Well, this is for all postage for the town going forward. We're out of postage.
Ah, okay.
The elections have run our machine dry.
I did talk with Pam, and it was kind of like a ballpark number. She couldn't really give me a definite answer because, again, it's very, I guess, dependent on when she mails everything out. They send it back saying we want to mail out ballot. Then she mails it back out. So it's very, there wasn't like a definite number. So I would say maybe 10 was probably elections related, and then the rest would help the town for the rest of the year because it all comes out of that one
Yeah,
line
yeah.
right now. So it was kind of like majority elections, but also we were running close out of the entire
So we could
line.
basically send out, so we send out a letter that says, hey, do you want a mail-in ballot? You then send that back saying, yes, I want a mail-in ballot. And then the town goes off and sends the mail,
Mhm.
okay.
And what I thought was interesting was how she has to send out a stamped postcard in a stamped letter. So we're paying for like double postage essentially.
That's what I'm wondering. I mean, okay, fine. I'm still stuck on this whole bulk thing.
Ask-
How much is that gonna
Ask
cost?
her when she comes in for her budget on election.
Yeah, she'll be able to
I'm
give a
not
good
the town
explanation.
clerk.
Yeah, no, I know. I just.
Yeah.
As far as, when we discover these things,
Yeah.
we try to rectify them by making sure that in the future, it's put in the right place.
So
No,
for-
and I agree with that,
I-
that
I-
makes sense.
This
I
this
guess
don't happen every year, it's just, this year's is all
Yeah.
elections.
But this is, as I said, we moved when we realized that a major mailings were coming out of that general postage
Yeah,
and could be put in another department's budget and taken care of, we do that. I mean,
ultimately, at the end of the day, it all hits the bottom line, so I get
yeah,
that
it's
part.
just interesting to me that in other places we've tracked the department's uses of postage.
Given the fact that there's so much squishiness, could we do a smaller number, realizing might not get us to where we need to go? Only because reserve fund, right? It is
As long as we reserve the right to come back.
No, so how much is in reserve fund now?
150,000, this is the first one. And so for reference, there's $500 left in postage right now for townwide. And again, like I said, I had a conversation with Pam and the mailing's not gonna stop through June. So that was like if there's extra at the end, it's in town buildings, you know what I mean, and then we can move it to another, we know there's gonna be a deficit somewhere else.
Yes,
Hmm?
they're gonna need it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
It is what it is, right? I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the motion passes. Okay. All right, next on the agenda, anybody have any old business to discuss? No old business. Under new business, I'd like to mention that I was able to attend the Old Colony budget subcommittee hearing last night with the neighboring towns. Kristen was also there. So we got to hear the presentation from Mr. Polanski, who will be here next week, presenting as well. So it was pretty informative. A lot of the neighboring towns, we all kind of share the same sentiment, in the same predicament with lack of revenue, minimal state aid, and big deficits. That was the main theme of last night. Some of the towns, really liked hearing the numbers that they presented. Of course, it affects our town the most because we send the most kids to Old Colony, which is, they're essentially becoming, our high school, for the most part, because a lot of kids want to go there. So at the end of the day, their budget overall was up 3.67%. So we're gonna hear from Mr. Polanski next week. He'll be here. I emailed everyone a copy of what we received last night. So you get a chance to take a look at it, review it before next week's meeting, highlight anything that you might have questions about, and we can address them with Mr. Polanski next week. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have some minutes to approve from the meeting of January 31st, 2024. In attendance was myself, Pete Benoit, Eric Chu, Bob Ferrera, Kristen Flynn, and Eric McGlynn. Absent was Sue Delgado and Robert St. Jean.
I'll make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. And next meeting date is, again, next Wednesday, right here, March 6th, and we'll be meeting with Aaron Polanski, the superintendent of Old Colony.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.